Welcome back to So Bad It's Good. Today, actually, I look forward to podcasts like these because I do not know our guest except for a cursory internet search, but I do know she is has a new podcast for iHeartRadio and Cloud 10, which is the same company I'm with. And this is right up my alley. It's not reality shows, but remember, we talk about everything on this show. You have heard pretty much all of my horrible, horrible dating stories. Her podcast is called Crimes of the Heart, and I'm going to make her listen to the description of this again so you guys know what it is. It's a love and dating podcast with a true crime twist. You come listen to the confessions of singles and couples as they unburden themselves of their most tragic and embarrassing love, dating, and sex stories. From horrific first dates to savage breakups and epic revenge tales, they will cover all of the horrors facing modern love these days. It's part storytelling experience and part advice column. This podcast is going to be here to help you navigate the perilous landscape that is digital dating and make you feel less alone in the process. Now, also, our guest is an actor, singer-songwriter, everything. Rory Uphold, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
How are you liking podcasting so far? This comes out October 11th, the podcast. So I think you'll be able to hear this right around the time this comes out, so you can go immediately subscribe. How are you enjoying the format of podcasting so far?
It's wild. I mean,
yeah, right?
The thing is I really bit off a large chunk because I'm finding like the most insane dating stories, like things that make me go, I thought my love life was crazy. And now I'm like, oh, this is a breeze. And then I'm interviewing these people and I'm turning it into like a true crime reenactment. So there's like full sound design, lots of
yeah, you guys, there's a 3-minute trailer you can listen to, and it's like, I'm like, what is this, like George Lucas? Is this James Cameron produced this? There's like all these amazing sounds and all these voices, and like, you guys know me, I'm like farting into a tin can over here, but it's very fun. Rory is just really scared that I just said that.
I should have done that. I should be farting into tin can.
So, but the thing I wanted to ask you about is the dating and all that stuff. I'm like, hell yeah, romance, all that stuff. Where does the true crime come in?
So they're all emotional crimes. And one of the things I don't understand is like, if I hit you with my car, there are consequences for that, right? Mm-hmm. But if you go ahead and waste 2 years of my life, there's no consequences for that. You could be cheating on me and there's no recourse. I'm just supposed to deal with that.
Okay. That is so dead on. Last week on the podcast, we were talking about, Adam Levine from Maroon 5. And of course, it's like a 70s band. It's got a couple hits. And we were talking about Tristan Thompson in regards to Khloe Kardashian. Now, Adam Levine.
Hear that name.
It's really get the official Stop Sleeping with Tristan Thompson shirt at SoBadIt'sGoodmerch.com. That's not a joke. And stop sleeping with Nick Cannon too.
But
yeah, but the Adam Levine thing, he's married to this Bahati. All of this stuff comes out. And what you just said is what I think exactly of, like, if you drunk drive, you lose your driver's license. There's a marriage license. If you cheat, shouldn't you lose your marriage license? It's not even up to you.
Well, that's, I think, the real win in a prenup if you negotiate.
I love that relationships these days, like now they involve prenup, dating sites, all of this stuff where it's like Survivor, like an actual game.
And that's kind of how I feel like the dating landscape is. Like, I know that people we make a lot of fun about it, but if you've ever seen the like ... when somebody's texting you back and then it appears, and like your stomach is kind of like, it feels like fight or flight. It feels like the same stakes as true crime. So I'm just taking it and treating it the same way.
That is amazing. Okay, that makes perfect sense now. Also, with those text bubbles, what's worse is when you see it and it's lasting for like 30 seconds, they're really writing, and then just nothing pops up. Sure. They just stop.
And then like 4 hours later, no text. You're like, oh,
they gave up on their thought. Now, I don't know how, because I'm assuming this is a very personal show for you. Are you going to be taking us through your own dating experiences and not just guess?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it will inevitably come out. I mean, I could
inevitably
it will inevitably come out. Like when I intro the podcast, I always say like, hello, friends, future friends, haters, and ex-lovers, because I know they're going to listen. And, don't treat people poorly if you don't want us talking about you.
I used to do a segment on the first year of my show called Bailey Blunders, where I would talk about bad dates that I've had. I mean, but they would mainly be the things that I did that were stupid in those bad dates. But I didn't really think about that these people would actually listen to it one day. And then I did actually talk to somebody that had heard it, and it was horrifying and fascinating because their experience of it is so much different than my experience was. So what I thought was like a complete disaster wasn't that bad in their eyes, but I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a win.
That's amazing. I used to co-host a radio show on Wednesday mornings. This is forever ago, but I would come on for Hump Day, talk about love and dating. And I was leaving the radio station and I got a text from a guy saying, "Great show today." And my heart fell out of my butthole because I had been talking about our date on radio. And I did not realize, because it's early. Like I had to get to the station around 5:30 because I think the slot was 7 to 9. It doesn't really matter. The point is I just didn't think anybody I knew would be listening.
Yeah.
What a ding dong. He goes, "Yeah, that's how I figured out I wouldn't be getting the second date."
Oh man.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. But
by the way, that would be great is that I did the radio show just so I would have to have a second date with you. So you would eventually find out the easy way through radio. Where are you at, I guess, in your do you still believe in love? I mean, because sometimes with all of this stuff, it is hard not to be jaded. And then hearing all of these stories, even in the clips I heard you guys, like there's like some horrific things even where I'm like, damn, like I know personally, I've gotten scared so many times, or I'm like, you get really jaded as the older you get and the more you deal with this. Where do you stand personally on how you feel about love and dating?
Oh, well, I feel like personally, I'm probably like 3/4 of the way through the haunted house, but I still believe in love. My parents got engaged after, I think a month of dating, and they've been married ever since. And on my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, my dad flew my mom's whole family in, got down on one knee and re-proposed with a ring that was twice the size and asked for another 25 years of marriage.
How's any guy going to compete with that, Rory? I mean, like, and by the way, do you get to a 1 month with a guy and you're like, "Where's the ring?" Like, I mean, how would you even?
1 month? 1 month?
I know, that's what I'm saying. My parents are still together too after 50 years, like 50 years. And like, and I'm not saying it's a perfect marriage, but like they're still together. And I'm like, at this point, if I meet I can't get to 50 years. Like there's just no possible way unless they invent some kind of like age medicine or something,
Well, I think they do have the perfect marriage because the perfect marriage is just that they're married. Like the whole thing about like the horrors of being single don't end when you get into a relationship. They just change.
Yes.
So it's the love journey is both amazing and horrific. And that's like part of it too. It's not just, being single is so hard. Being in a relationship is really it's insane. And it never ends. And then you add kids into the mix, you had all of these things. It just gets harder and harder and harder.
I mean, you're complete. And then Adam Levine's like, "I need to get on my DMs. Like, this is too hard. I can't do this anymore." Are you single right now, or are you in a relationship?
I am single right now.
Do you give yourself off seasons? Like I was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We talk a lot about reality shows on this show, and they had their season finale.
I'm criminally behind. I tried to watch the Kardashians and some other things to try and keep up with the show. Like there might be some questions and I might.
No, Rory, I told you this is all going to be love. You're not going to get tested on anything. If you knew this stuff, great. But if not, we've got an hour just talking about the misery and possibility of love and dating. Right. But I was wondering though, like the off seasons for these reality shows, they'll go away for like 3 months, 4 months, and they come back with a new season. Do you give yourself off seasons in dating?
I actually swear by it.
Why?
Well, this is going to be a curveball for the audience because the parallel is not quite the same. But I believe in fallow periods, and a fallow period is a farming phrase. And I think that we are all like farmland or dirt. And if you are constantly growing crops on the same dirt, eventually those crops go bad. There's no nutrients in the soil and it just all withers and dies. That's why, like, from, traditional farming, they have fallow periods where it's just like dead earth, dead soil, a winter, if you will, so that the crops can come back and be better than ever. I personally believe in the same thing when it comes to dating. So I have done it multiple ways. I've daisy chained from dick to dick, and like that has never served me well. It's been like fun, but then I inevitably crash and burn. So I think it's best to take the L, mourn it, meditate on it, whatever, have your glow up, and then get back out there.
I love the farming though, because like, are the men cattle? Like, I mean, are the farming? I love. I mean, that really. I'm going to be thinking about that for a long time. So. Also, the thing was, when I started dating, we didn't have apps or anything like that. So you did it the old-fashioned way by just stalking somebody and then eventually walking up to them,
the
just really chill. Yeah, you guys have seen Dateline, And but now with all of these apps, like, what is your take? I mean, could be an 8-hour podcast just by this question is, what is your take on apps? What apps do you use? What apps do you say do not use? Because this is going to be part advice, part storytelling. And you've already given some really great pearls, but what's your take on social media dating apps?
I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's like, do you want to be the universal or do you want to be all the other record labels? Remember when people thought that we were going to like stop downloading music?
Yeah.
Universal was the only one that got on board, and they did better. Like, it is what it is. So get on board. I think that you don't.
Yeah, you're not shutting Napster down,
No. Oh, you're going to take out Tinder and Hinge and Bumble, and we're going to go back to normal. It's just not going to happen. So all of my boyfriends I've met in real life.
Not on dating apps. So
not on dating apps.
Okay.
I don't know what that says about me or the apps. I mean, I know plenty of people that have gotten married off of apps. So they do work. I mean, I think I get like swipe fatigue. I've been on all of them. I'm currently only on one. And
what's the best one?
I'm on it very badly. I'm on Hinge. I'm on it very badly in that I don't really use it, and I have just a ton of.
So then people like you, and then it's great, but then they never really hear from you because you rarely check it, right? So that you might pop on and go, hey, what's going on? And then you forget to check it again, kind of a thing.
Kind of. I mean, the thing is it kind of hurts my feelings because sometimes I'm looking because the uggos. What
does that mean?
It's like a buffet of ugly dudes. I'm like, I don't want to eat.
This is like you're saying my worst nightmare right now. Like, this is how I know girls talk. Is that like, am I the uggo, or am I I'm not holding a fish up in my photo? My God. Like, but that's what girls really think.
That feels like that's maybe a little regional. Guys fish in LA. Like, then you're like, oh, he's a comic. Okay,
that would be kind of cool though. A fish by the Hollywood sign, like holding up a fish. It would be so bizarre. Yeah. So you're like, it's a sea of ugly dudes and you're trying to find the gold or the diamond.
It is. I feel so bad that I'm going to get struck with terrible karma, but you know what? It's fine. Sometimes I go in and I look at the people who have liked me and I'm like, this is not fair. I know for a fact that you would not walk up to me in a bar. I know for a fact you would not have the balls to come hit on me in real life. So, sir.
Yeah, the phone actually gives you this disconnect where you're braver than you ever are anywhere else.
It's like some of these dudes are shooting their shot and I'm like, my guy, this is hurting my feelings. I now have to take a step back. And the other guys who would have had a shot no longer get a shot because I need to go work on my self-confidence.
Okay, well, that sounds amazing. Has there ever been like what impresses you about a profile? What's one that's like, wait, this is bringing me back a little bit. Like, is there anything to like keep an eye out for in terms of like, you want a guy that says this in their bio, or you want a guy,
Well, I used to ghostwrite a lot of people's dating apps, and
was that like a paid job or just for friends?
I never got paid to do it. I should have. I did it a lot. I still do it, to be totally honest. Like if we're out, sometimes friends will be like, "Oh my God, just give her your phone. She'll redo your whole profile."
Cyrano de Bergerac of Tinder, yeah.
And I do, because I think that people don't realize, like, it's very strategic. From the photos that you use and the array of photos you use to what you're communicating and what you want. Like if you just want to get laid, that's very different than like, I want to find someone to date and fall in love with. But things that catch my eye are, like, is this person my type? Like, first of all, if the photos are blurry or they look like, sometimes I'm scrolling through and I'm like, this is 8 different people. Who is this man? He looks different in every photo. That bums me out, because I'm like, I have no idea what this person is going to look like if I show up on this date. I try to always FaceTime first.
Yeah. No.
That is the move, because you get catfished once and you don't do it again.
Wait. Have you gotten catfished?
Oh.
Wait, by the way, I don't know if you heard that, she made an audible gulp. Like Manti Te'o catfish. Like how deep was the catfish?
No, I would be running to Netflix with that story.
We wouldn't be podcasting, baby.
I know. I was like, no, lifetime. I made a rookie move. This was last year, 2021. So we were still like pandemic-ish. The vaccines had just started to roll out. And I was on an app called a Locks Club, which is
wait. Jewish, is that like a butcher? What is that? Like,
it's like a Jewish dating app.
Okay.
Jewish, but you had to apply. It's kind of like the Jewish Raya. And I just said, all my favorite exes are Jewish, and they let me on.
We need somebody like you on our team. Yeah.
True. I'm like, listen, they just do it.
I'm a chosen one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's So I'm on Locks Club and I matched this guy and I'm like, this guy looks great. He's awesome. He is not my type, in that he is, oh man, let's hope he doesn't hear this. Okay.
He will. Like, by the way,
I know. He's a CEO of multiple companies. So he's like in business. And I was like,
Jeff Bezos.
Yes. He's a tiny little man with a bald head. Jeff Bezos really reminds me of this guy.
Yeah. Dr. Evil. Yeah.
Even though I think that's Lorne Michaels, but it's giving same energy.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story very short, I thought this works. And he wanted to like have phone calls before, and we're kind of vibing. And I made such a rookie move. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so embarrassing to admit this, but we wanted to go to the botanical gardens, and then we wanted to do lunch, but because COVID was where it was like, well, where should we have lunch? We didn't want to do a restaurant. So I had him come over to my house. So dumb for so many reasons. However, I was able to verify he was who he said he was. So in terms of like the actual threat risk on my life, like it seemed very low, like that part.
Had it already gotten romantic in terms of like the texting back and forth?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like, I've got a vibe about you,
No nudes.
Okay. This is my nice way of asking. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Although that does happen. Although I recommend just keep a folder, use the same 5 nudes. Just make sure, like for me, and I don't care if a guy were to
Top
ask
5.
me, like, I'm like, yeah, these tits are like, a lot of people have seen them.
Yeah.
Like this specific photo, because
2017, that was a good year. Yes.
Well,
it's like wine,
I just, like sometimes you get one and you're like, if this hit the internet, I would survive.
I would thrive.
Yeah. And I try not to send a nude that I wouldn't be okay with hitting the internet.
This is great advice. Wait, so the catfish, you tell this guy,
Sorry,
he comes
yeah,
over.
anyway.
No. I love this is
So
exactly like my show is. It's all
he
over. Like, he comes to your place. You gave him your address.
comes to my place and he's walking up, and I catch him through the glass as he's walking up to my door. And I said, "Who is that? That is not the man I matched with. That man ate the man I matched with, and then aged like 20 years."
Oh no. Wait, was it me?
That man.
Was this
Who
me?
is that man?
Yeah,
I was
okay.
Keke Palmer. Like, I was like, it was crazy. So I said to myself, don't be such a little bitch. Like, who cares?
Suck it up.
Like, what if you hit it off with this person? Well, I also feel like it was a red flag because if you're presenting one way and then you are a different way, it feels like a little bit of a bait and switch. However, I was like, well, I liked this guy's personality. And honestly, that really is the thing that I go for. I know that sounds like such a lot.
Wait. I feel like you're saying that like this addendum of like, no, come on. Personality seems like okay.
When I have boyfriend goggles on, I have dated and loved some literal trolls.
Do you let them know while you're dating them, like, you're an exception because you're great, you know?
No, because I literally don't know that they're ugly.
Oh, until afterwards.
Like what I'm saying is, what boyfriend goggles are the strongest thing on the planet. Like, I dead ass have dated some objectively ugly dudes and thought they were solid 10s. And it wasn't till later that I was like, wait a second. He's very ugly. And my friends are like, yeah, and always was. Always was.
Wait. I want to get back to the end of the catch, but what do you think of Pete Davidson real quick? Ugly or hot? He seems to like really divide people, but more hot people seem to think he's hot. And
so Pete Davidson does look like a lot of dudes that I've dated, but that's because he's got dark hair, he's tall and covered in tattoos. He also looks like he could ruin my life a little bit. So that's kind of why I'm like, I'm middle of the road. Like, when people are like, he's super ugly, I see that. I do see that. But when people are like, he's super hot, I'm like, I also see that.
Yeah, like that's it.
Totally get it.
Okay. So the guy comes up, he's rolling up in his chair and he's twice the size than he was in the photos, and you're like, okay, that's fine. He has a good personality.
Whatever. And then I see his outfit.
Oh no.
This man dead ass wore sweats, but they weren't normal sweats. They were like half tracksuit, half gray sweatpants with an elastic.
Oh, wow.
And a waffle knit like tee that didn't fully cover his belly. So there was like a little bit of space. And that was a thing he kept like adjusting. But I was like, no jeans. Like, you couldn't have, like, I see like outfits like that. Like, it was nuts.
See, then that makes me, I was like already starting to feel bad for this guy. But then I was like, wait a sec. Then he's not even in the game. He's not even trying.
Oh, I mean,
he's not even
within 20 minutes, like the things that came out of this man's mouth, very podcast worthy. I was like, okay, these are real red flags. But I'm going to jump ahead. He refused to wear a mask at the botanical gardens. This was when the mask mandates were happening. And I was like, sir, two things. One, you're embarrassing me. Two, you would look a lot better in this mask. Like, I don't think you understand.
You have a better shot in the mask. Yeah.
It would help you. We were the only two people. Well, I was wearing mine because I'm weirdly weird about following rules and also not dying. But he was the only person not in a mask in the whole place. And then he suggested we take a photo for my parents together.
Was this like a prank that your friends set you up on? Like, I mean, because this does seem like a little too like on the nose. I was thinking that he'd come in and he'd be nervous because he knew he already didn't look like his photos. Because I think we know when we don't look like our photos. Like, we're like, was a better version of me.
No, this man had a confidence that if I could bottle it and sell it, I'd be a billionaire.
Did you take the photo?
I did.
that should be actually the podcast cover art. Like that should be the podcast cover art. Like that's there's God, but now I kind of got to see, is there any way you can send me the photo after this just for my personal, like, I mean, like now I'm so curious, but so does that like shake
this
you
is
enough?
Honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 2 in terms of the stories on the podcast. This is maybe a 1. This is a 1.
So this is just tip of the iceberg. Could you give us an example of somebody else that you've talked to and maybe a little bit of an insane story that they had just to wet our whistle a little bit?
Wow. I mean, I'm editing one right now.
Or something that just shocked you. You're like, oh my God.
I'll give you 2. One is like a physical, ooh. And the other one would be like more in terms of just crazy stuff. So there's a guy that matched with a guy on Grindr, and the guy on Grindr has a kidnapping fetish. So he came over to his house 30 minutes later, tied him up, blindfolded him, put him in the trunk of his car, drove him.
They've been together ever since.
Drove him into the middle of the woods. They hooked up, and he left him there.
Wait, did he plan on the leaving him there part, or was
No,
he
that
like,
part
this is the hottest thing that somebody's ever done to me is leave me here? Like,
yeah, that wasn't a part of the deal. So that's pretty crazy. I talked to a girl who dated a guy for 4 years only to find out he had an arranged marriage. It's pretty gnarly. A great revenge story about a girl who got revenge on her ex by buying 100 keys, vintage keys, and getting little keychains for them that said, if lost, please call, and shipped them all over the country.
Oh my God.
We love to see it.
Okay. Can I share a horrible dating story that I have? With you?
Absolutely.
Now, this is not the girl. This is all me. Like and you guys know by now, like this is like 16, 17 years ago now. And I'd met this girl in San Francisco. What's that? Yeah, thank you. Yes, exactly. It was fine. No, but like I met this girl in San Francisco on just a random night at a bar, and we hit it off, but she was extremely drunk. Didn't, no make out or anything like that even happened, but she was like, I'm going to be in LA next week. And, I was like, okay, we can have a date. And then I got really nervous because I had just gotten out of a long relationship that went like high school to college to real life. And I had no concept of dating. So this was going to be the first date. Wow. Yeah. And I didn't tell her that, but I was like, cool, I got a date. And then like, as the week goes on, I get more and more like, fuck, like, how do you even do a date? Like, how does it, like, you still take a ride in a bike? Like, I don't even fucking know. Like, how do I talk to people? You forget everything.
You were just,
by the way, the disgusted look on Rory's face right now is just, she's like, oh no.
No. I'm like, you were a little mini tornado. You were just spiraling out of control.
Oh, the conversations that I was having in my head where, I was practicing conversations. I was practicing, and there used to be this place over on Beverly called Sushi Roku by the Beverly Center. And we were going to meet there. I was like, okay, I don't have to pick her up, but
let's start.
Yeah. And so I parked my car in this parking area that's still there where like the Old Navy and all that stuff is. And I had a shitty white Corsica. And I
don't even know what that is.
Exactly. You don't need to, it would upset you. Right. And so I didn't have to drive her, so I was okay. And I remember just being so nervous. And at the time I was blaring Counting Crows, which is also like probably a point against me for a lot of people. And I was so nervous. I jump out of the car. I go to the restaurant. I meet her. And after 10 minutes, it's like, okay, this is good. Like, it's actually good. And we're like having fun and everything. I was like, why was I so worried about this? And then she's like, hey, why don't we go to another, like a second location? And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, let's go, we can go to my car. And we're walking up the steps, and it's like on the 3rd floor. And all of a sudden there's like this just like layer of smoke. And I hear Counting Crows, and I'm like, oh my God, I was just listening to Counting Crows. That's wild. And then I realize I had left my keys not only in the car, but I had left the engine running on a shitty Chevy Corsica, and my CD of Recovering the Satellites was playing on repeat for 2 hours. And like literally I had to go, people had to, and you should see this poor girl. Like when I realized that it was I was like, oh, and I did like, how do you explain to somebody like, I was so nervous, and like, what kind of jackass jumps out of a car while it's running and doesn't even like my head was so in a different place that I left the car running with the music blaring.
Was the car on fire?
It was a light fire, yes. And we had to get that put out. And then my roommate had to come and this poor girl from San Francisco, like we were sitting on like a curb at one point, and like, I was just like this, oh man, like it was going so, yeah, but that really, those will scare you so bad because you realize you can't trust yourself. Like as a dude, you're like, I'm capable of anything. Like I can't even trust myself to be smooth in any sort of way. Do you have bad date stories?
Did you get laid? Did you guys hook up?
No, God, no. She was like, yeah, the guy, I'm going to trust my body with the guy who lit his car on fire listening to Counting Crows. Nobody's going to let me touch them. Like, this was even before nudes. Are you kidding me? Like, I wish. Could you imagine that poor girl that's like, well, I guess I have to give him a sympathy lay? No, not at all. Like, it was literally like, it was like I shook a, like, it was like shaking hands. Like, okay, well, have a good life,
I don't know. I could see it going one of two ways. Like, it could be a bonding experience, but yeah.
I couldn't convert. Yeah. I think I even said, I was like, well, this kind of ends that. I was defeated. Like I just felt so defeated. Have you ever done anything horrible on a date?
Ooh, that is a great question. And I'm probably
like, I'm perfect. I do it right.
Well, I've done some like crazy reckless shit, but I've never like lit my car on fire. I'm trying to think of like
yeah. Sorry, I maybe should have had you go first. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. A lot of stuff has happened to me, and I take the ride. Like I'll go for the story. I mean, I met up with a guy at Cantor's at like 11 p.m. once, and then went home to his house. We took Molly.
That sounds like kind of like a perfect date. Actually,
it was a really fun first date. Actually.
Who suggested the Molly?
I think he did. We met each other. Like, I think he and I know each other still. He's in the industry. So again, there's certain things that I like, there's certain risks that I've taken where I'm like, okay, the odds of this person wanting to murder me feels low because
I like that it's never zero. It's just low. Like it could still happen. It's never zero. Yeah.
As a woman,
even when you're in the relationship, never zero.
Never zero. So, yeah, we hung out, and I think he said it like as a dare. And I was like, okay, let's fucking do it.
That's an easy dare. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So we hooked up for like a couple of years, I think.
I had a pretty serious Molly addiction at the end of that one.
No, it was a very casual situation, just kind of like on and off. He was very concerned that I would fall in love with him. Spoiler alert, I did not, but yeah.
Wait. Like, don't fall. I'm a rebel. Don't do this to yourself. I'm going to hurt you. That kind of thing.
Just like, oh, I'm just like, I really want something casual. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, cause I didn't.
He's like, no, you don't get it. Casual. And you're like, no, I get it. And he's like, no, but casual. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically. And then I think like, so we hooked up, and then I think the next time I wanted to hook up with him, he was like, oh, I'm really worried you're going to fall in love with me. And
that's so cocky.
Oh yeah. And I was like, okay, rest assured, will not happen. And cut to like a year and a half later, he is over at my place and asks me if I would consider ever going out on a date with him. And
look who's in love now.
So thrown. I have this diary entry from that night that is honestly some of the best writing I've ever done. Like, I was like, I didn't know what to do, but I still wanted to get laid. So I just said yes. Like, I like went through the motions of like, just say whatever you got to say. Like, it was like full like role reversal. And oh God, this is, I can't believe I'm about to admit this in front of a lot of people. Oh man, my mom.
Do it. Do
Oh,
it. Do it.
oh,
Do. Hey,
oh.
hey, we're selling a show right now. Come on.
So he goes through this whole thing about like how he really wants to date me and really like realizes he likes me. And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm like, so now do we hook up? And I take my shirt off. And he looks at me and he goes, "What's that?" I was like, "What?" Oh, and I realized I had like hickeys on my boobs. And what are those? And I literally was like, I didn't know what to do. And he was like, "Wait, is that from like another guy?" And it's like, well, obviously, I didn't give
Did
them
you do that to yourself? Yeah.
But it also like, we weren't ever a thing. Like
Yeah.
you, for the longest time, were like, "Don't fall in love with me. Don't fall in love with me." And I was like, I only needed that note once. Like just.
Wait, did he get mad? Did he go, you're seeing some? Oh, he did? He's like, "Put that shirt back on. This is disgusting."
It was just that we never went out on the date. Like it really crushed his tiny little ego.
We dudes really do have like, the thing that I don't have that a lot, like guys will be extremely cocky. You've given us many examples, and I'm sure we're going to hear many more on the podcast, but it's that. And then there's an obliviousness though. So when they do get hurt by women, they are so not counting on it that they carry it around for decades, This guy, I'm assuring you, will think about this for decades as the one that not only got away, but that broke him. And it was a light break.
Honestly, I fucking hope so.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And then like, if heaven exists, do we like all meet up with each other in these bad, awkward dates? And you're like, "Sorry, it didn't work."
I still see him at events and stuff sometimes because he's in the comedy world. Oh
yeah, Rory, I wanted to talk about too. What is your because like you seem like you are a master of all trades. Like how did you come up? Because you're from Canada, right?
I have dual citizenship. So I'm from Los Angeles.
So you could be on 90 Day Fiance, but you don't need to be on 90 Day Fiance. Yeah.
That's my next move.
Yeah. But you're an actor, singer, songwriter. Like, you really you do it all. What has been your experience in this industry so far?
I started in music. I got a record deal when I was younger, and that's how I started writing. I started writing songs. And then one day I hit a wall with music. It's a very long story. It's very boring. It was a brutal industry and things happened. And I actually got a record deal because I went to an open call. It was a fluke. So yeah, I love it. It's something that is a huge part of my life, but it was an accident. And I'd always wanted to make movies and be in like film TV. So I was with a man that I thought I was going to marry, and I thought we were going to get married because we talked about getting married. And then one day he called me on the phone and he broke up with me, which is wild. It's a wild way to break up with someone. 364 days later, I would find out he had his 1-year anniversary with his new girlfriend. So
when you know, yeah.
As one does.
Wow.
But the moment I got broken up with, I was with my 89-year-old grandmother, and I was really worried that I was going to give her a heart attack because I was crying so hard. So I had my best friend come over, and I'm in her car, ugly crying, snot running down my face. And I had this thought about oh my God, I'm going to have sex with somebody new for the first time. And then my second thought was that would actually make a really great short film. And then I just went and did it because I think I was so shell-shocked and broken and just lost that I made this short film, and it did really well. And it gave me, more importantly, the confidence to just keep making other things. So then I started just making my own work, and I made a web series called LA about LA, and that went viral.
That's where it is. I was like, I know Rory Uphold's name. First off, I was like, when I first got the email anyways, I was like, why do I know this name? But I've seen LA. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that kind of really, that web series, when it went viral, opened up a lot of doors for me. And that's ultimately like how I sold my first television show. And so then I got into like writing TV and developing. And yeah, I occasionally like will act in things.
What are those? I mean, is there something that you like the most? I mean, is podcasting turning out to be a forum that you're like, well, this is just as exciting as making a short film? Is it beneficial for you now?
I mean, I think the thing is I have ideas and then I figure out what the best format is. So
Yeah.
I never wanted to jump into podcasting until I felt like I had something that was different or unique. And I can honestly say that my podcast is like none other podcast in the love dating genre. Like I know that because I never would have done it. If it was
Otherwise, yeah.
if it already existed. So taking people's stories and then basically giving them the, crime junkies Dateline treatment so that their kind of like most cringe, embarrassing, horrific, hilarious, whatever, love, sex, dating, relationship moment becomes immortalized in a way that has music and world building sound and stakes that feel kind of life or death.
You're like the Nicole Kidman AMC preview, like, sound that I can feel, like, I mean, no, it's like, I'm teasing, but at the same time, it is kind of like, I love that you like universe building. Cause it really, even in the 3-minute trailer that I got to listen to, it really does like start, you're like, man, this is like a production, and this is, and then when you explain the idea, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like that is unique. That is something that is beneficial. And that's why you could go on that's why I'm like, yeah, come on this podcast, because we do talk about dating on top of reality shows. We do talk, like, this is right in the wheelhouse of my listeners. I'm telling you guys that. So as you get through it, you also realize that it's an insane amount of work too, though. So,
it's wild because I have all of these like true crime parts, but then the interviews that I did. So the pilot will come out on Tuesday, and my friend Akilah Hughes is the first guest, and people might know her because she was the co-host for What a Day, Crooked Media's like daily podcast.
Yeah.
She's also a YouTuber, actor, comedian, whatever. And that's fun. And then I wasn't timing it, and our conversation was an hour and a half.
See, that's just called that's a warm up for me, man. Like that is like, I mean, no, I see this is like, I do everything in podcasting you're not supposed to do. I do like long form. I do. Yeah, but you're right. Like I just but when you start talking to people, you realize that everybody has a story, and it's like, so the give and take can be so fun. In fact, you want to live in that world, but you have to edit it then into a story.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to write a book and sell a TV. Like there's so many other things that I'm also doing at the same time. And I'm like, ooh, it's crazy how now I'm a professional editor, and I was not.
So this is going to be season by season, right? How many episodes are you projecting to be in the first season?
30.
30 in the first season. And this is going to be weekly? 30 episodes, and it's going to be edited and like I'm already like in my head, like in GarageBand adding music cues. I'm like, that's a lot of work for the production level that you're at. That's amazing.
It is a lot of work. Yeah. I also really I want people to be entertained, potentially educated, and feel less alone in like the kind of craziness and the horror and the chaos that is navigating love, whatever stage you're at, because it's not just for people who are single.
I like that you're still, but see, that's what when we started talking, I like that you still say, well, you're not completely jaded yet, because it would be sometimes when you're having somebody take you through this journey and they're like completely like, by the way, it's a waste of time. It's going nowhere. It would be hard to go there with that person on that journey, knowing that they've already made up their mind that they never want to date again. So I think that's like an interesting perspective to come from. As we start winding down, I wanted to go to, and I know you didn't watch the Kardashians, but I know you know who the Kardashians are.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So that I could talk about it.
Okay. I wanted just to, like, what should they do? What are they doing wrong? I mean, it really seems like that is part of their brand, is just picking the wrong people. So much so that I don't even know if they would know. I mean, then it's like the extreme of Travis Barker, where, you know, they're finger blasting each other in public. Like, I mean, where is there a happy medium? What are they?
That?
I mean, it's
hyperbole, or
I mean, well, she says on the show, she's like, I just can't help myself. And just, it's like that. She's like, it's like that dance while no one's watching. And it's like, it doesn't mean like have sex when no one's watching.
I was like, dance while no one's watching does not mean get fucked.
That's exactly. And I'm like, you're making everybody uncomfortable, including the viewing audience, when we have to watch this. What do you perceive as their mistakes or strengths, or using this as part of their brand?
Oh man, this is like not a funny answer.
No, I don't need funny.
My take is that I think that they're replaying patterns from their childhood.
Yeah, with Chris and Robert. Yeah.
And I think that there's like and I weirdly think that they have an obsession with Black culture. And now that they have Black children, they're able to basically claim like a part of Black culture. Look, I'm a white woman for anybody listening. So that's my take at like as an outsider. But it does seem like, you know, they've managed to appropriate and dodge kind of any repercussions of all of this like crazy appropriation, even down to like Kim's new skin line, which is literally ripped off of Rory.
She took
It's so fucking weird to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's that.
Well, by the way, you know, you're competing with her now because her podcast just got released this week.
Is it called Crimes of the Heart?
No, but it is a true crime podcast. She listened to Serial like 3 years after it came out, and you know, she's all into prison reform and stuff, which is great. But she's like, how can I make money off prison reform? And she has a Spotify deal now, and it's
she's just gonna open up a prison. She's like, no, but like in my prison.
Well, did you see her homeware line? It's all cement products. Like that would be a perfect prison. Are you kidding me?
Good Lord. Oh boy. This is real dark days.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like all of this stuff is so dark. And the fact that it's like at this point, the Kardashians are just, you couldn't stop them if you wanted to. Like we opened up the door too far and they've kicked it in. And the same with Kanye, the same with all these, they've kicked it in too far. And I'm like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle at this point.
No, I mean, well, the one thing I love about them is I love how much they love their family.
No, yeah, no, that's exactly it.
It's like what I absolutely kind of adore about them. Other than that, I mean, like it gets old. Like I'm sick of hearing about them. And I do think it's like a clown show at this point.
It's like the weather though. I expect to hear about it every day. There's going to be like thunderstorms. There's going to be like, well, we knew the rain was coming. Why didn't you plan on this? I see Chloe's mistakes 10 steps ahead. And I'm like, the fact that you keep going back to this man, Tristan Thompson, who made you look like a stupid clown. And then you decided to have a second child with him. Some of the rules that they have for themselves is insane.
The timing was off, right? I mean, I don't know if there's people who have sleuthed it out and been like, no, she knew before they inseminated or whatever the word is for their surrogate. Like maybe she did know, maybe she didn't. But look, there's two sides of me. On the one hand, I go clown show. Like it's time to exit the circus. And then the other part of me goes, I understand how hard it must be to get cheated on by someone, have a kid with that person, want to keep the family unit together, see this person try to win you back, do all of the things for redemption.
On such a public level. And
then think to yourself, well, I can grow. Like I can change, I can grow, I can let go of this resentment. Because I think like you ever hear holding on to anger is like holding on to a hot coal. It only burns you.
Yeah.
So there's this like weird toxic positivity element where I think.
Yeah, Chloe was saying that actually in this week's episode, you guys, and she was just like, I can't hold on to that anger. I can't because it wouldn't serve me. It wouldn't, And then Lisa Rinna on Beverly Hills, you guys, said she can't hold on to this story. She's got to let everybody know that Kathy Hilton's a bad person or she'll get cancer. She can't keep that poison in her, she says. And it's a lot of times with these relationships is that you have to let it go. Now, by the way, I'm still thinking about the dude with the hickey on the boobs because I'm
wild statement.
I bet that dude that with the hickey on the boobs, I bet now anytime he sees a girl with her top off, he immediately checks for hickeys. Like he immediately, he doesn't even get the enjoyment of a boob anymore. He's like checking for hickeys.
I hope so.
Sorry,
I truly
okay.
hope so. I hope that I hit him somewhere deep in his little psyche. Yikes.
Okay.
I can't believe I just shared that with the world.
No, I'm like, no, that's amazing. Okay. And then finally, just to leave us with is, I mean, are there do's and don'ts? I mean, I know this is such a general, broad question, but like, what should women, like, what are considered positive relationships? And I sometimes feel that when I talk to my friends that are girls, they are looking for the bad boy or the one that's an obvious person that's going to hurt you of like, well, I like the bad boy, like you're like, oh, that guy, you said earlier, that guy could ruin my life. I hear that so much now from my friends that are girls, like so much of like, oh, that guy could ruin my life. Like it's a cool thing. I'm like, but they'll actually ruin your life. Do you have rules that you follow point blank that you will not fudge on?
No.
Perfect, right? All right. You got it here. Yeah. Everything's game, you guys.
I think that like rules are meant to be broken. Also, if you're growing and evolving, rules always change. So no, I have no hard and fast rules. I think like the bad boy thing is different. I think that's a seasonal thing. And I think that's an age thing. I think if you're in your 20s, it's like, yeah, let's fucking explore a little. Let's take a ride, or if you're in a season of not really looking for something serious or committed, then that's great. I think if you are saying that you want something and then you're making those choices, that you should look in, you should examine because you're not actually doing what you say you want. Yeah. And I think in terms of do's, don'ts, my general rule of thumb is just be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a really hard one because we can't trust our own mind sometimes. We lie to ourselves all the time just to like make excuses for why things went the way they went. We tell ourselves stories.
Trust your gut. You can trust your instincts, unless you have like PTSD, which some people do from dating. And then that's another episode. But, trust your gut. And I think don't be afraid to take the L.
That's the other thing. Like, I guess you have to treat it like at bats, but it's like so hard to keep stepping up to the plate because if you strike out so often, or you're like taking huge swings and then you keep missing, how do you go back up to the next at bat with like the same kind of passion, the same kind of heart? And that's why it's like, I'm really curious to even hear your show because it's going to even scare me even more, Well,
I feel like I'm one of those like gas station dolls that gets punched and just like flies back up. I truly am one of the more, not to be very Chloe about it, but I'm very, okay. And I think you just do it. And then part of being honest with yourself is if you are starting to realize like, oh man, I'm obsessing over this person, or I can't get over the guy who ghosted, or it's really hurting my feelings, take a time out. Time out, self-care, self-love, then get back out there. Because I can set the rules. Say like, I get rejected all the time and I don't really care.
Really? There's no personalization in that at all.
Right now? No. In other times, oh my God. I've done all the crazy
during
stuff.
pilot season. Yeah. Okay. One last thing. I swear I'll let you go is, you just mentioned ghosting though. What, have you been ghosted and have you ghosted?
Yes. And yes, I got ghosted a couple weeks ago and
so fresh.
Yeah, but whatever. It's like, that's the thing. I mean, first off, I don't really care. I'm also in a season where I'm busy. I have a roster. It is like, if you come and dazzle me, dope. And if you don't, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. This guy seemed awesome. We did like a FaceTime. We were going to go out. We never even went out and we were in touch and then he just fell off and I shot him a text. He never responded. And I thought, well, I'll be, I guess a girl must've like circled back in his life, whatever. If I want to get a response, this is what I do. I send a text that says something to the effect of, hey, I noticed like the energy shifted or you fell off or whatever. I don't know if somebody came back into your life or you're just busy or you wanted to ghost. Either way, like if you're still interested in getting a drink, let me know. Something like that. But I always use the word ghost. Every time I've used the word ghost, I've gotten a response. And it could hurt your feelings. I mean, in my case, it didn't. He was like, actually, I would really like, I did get busy and I would really love to see you. And now I'm like, tough, but no.
Cut to him outside your house. I love you. Yeah.
But I ghosted. I ghost on apps all the time. I have only really ever ghosted once, and it was like I met a guy at a party at Sundance and I needed to talk to somebody because I was like alone at this party. And so I was like, well, I'm going to talk to this guy. And if this guy thinks whatever. So and he was texting me all the time. And I just wasn't responding, and I never saw him again at the festival. I figured like that was a hint. And then we got back to LA and he just wouldn't stop. So I never responded. It's just like all the texts.
You hurt Steven Soderbergh's feelings. That's insane. Yes.
You're not married.
Oh, yeah.
If you really talk. No, I mean, so in that setting, like, but I think everybody has like different definitions of ghosting. I was talking to a friend of mine. She was like, I don't think it's ghosting unless you've gone out. So in that case, homeboy who I matched with, like he didn't ghost me.
Yeah. That's an official rule now. Okay. It's not ghosting unless you go out,
I guess.
Okay, cool. Guys, Crimes of the Heart premieres Tuesday. If you subscribe, you're going to get that in your podcast feed every time there's a new episode. I believe they're going to release every Tuesday. We'll see how that goes.
Dark. That was dark.
No, I'm just talking from my own personal podcasting experience. They'll release every Tuesday, but that's why the subscribe button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts really do help. And also, I know I say this ad nauseum to people that come on with podcasts, but go rate it 5 stars immediately. First off, they shared their time with us today. She's awesome. And you're going to dig the show already. And just remember, those things, they might seem arbitrary and small, but they're actually kind of huge because it really affects placement. It affects it getting out there, people trying new things. And that's what we want. And this was way better than I thought it was going to be. This was awesome. So no, I mean, it's like we came in
low, baby.
No, Rory, we came in cold. Like we came in cold to this. I think she was just like, she doesn't know me. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm really, really excited to check out this podcast.
Good. Thank you. Please guys, validate me. I need it. Remember, I'm getting rejected right and left out there.
Guy, just 3 weeks ago, she was ghosted, you guys. Like this, make up for that. She doesn't care though. Okay. Bye.